Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Convos podcast. Today, we have a new special guest co host with us. His name is Opa, and he's going to be telling you about a new company that he just launched, Flovale. Of course, Convos happens each and every Wednesday, and we interview entrepreneurs, artists, and CEOs on their journeys to wealth, right? And so typically we have somebody that's working in their industry. And today, hey y'all, thanks for coming in. So go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners and let them know who you are and what you do.
Hello everyone. How you guys doing today? Happy Wednesday. My name's Okwe, and I'm the CEO and the founder of Flovale. We're primarily a wealth management, investment strategy, and business consulting firm. However, our services are very boutique, very bespoke. We primarily concentrate on the sports, creative, and entertainment industries. So we tailor strategies that are peculiar to this niche, and we just make sure that we're able to bridge the gaps between this industries and other industries, in terms of corporate partnerships, endorsements, merchandising, product licensing, and also we're able to tailor strategies and investment opportunities that cater to the peculiarities of this industries. So primarily that's what we're offering right now. We've got scaling plans. We eventually hope to scale into a bank, and incorporate some 360 business consulting services.
How did you niche down to that particular area?
Well, I actually started my entrepreneurial journey from this industries. I primarily started in media, eventually pivoted to entertainment, and then also incorporated sports. So I did that for quite a number of years. I started doing that from my university days, I believe American say college days. Um, and in the early stages of my career, I primarily focused on those industries. However, as time went by, I gradually evolved, and I happened to venture into so many other industries. I went primarily corporate. I did finance, asset management, wealth management. I've done real estate. I've worked in government. I've done manufacturing, supply chain, um, and I brokered deals, mergers, acquisitions. So, I just got to a point in my entrepreneurial journey where I decided I wanted to do things I was passionate about, and find a way to incorporate my experiences and my expertise over the years as well, and just find a unique standpoint where I can, bring all this together and offer something that's not necessarily um, readily available in the market. So that's how I got here.
Yeah, sounds good. Two points that you brought me to when you were just talking. You merged some of your knowledge that you had from your background, some of your corporate experience, and then you put together a niche that was needed in the market. The other thing I heard you say is, first of all, I want to ask you, and I'm sure the listeners want to know too, is where are you from? Because I know we hear that thick accent as well.
I'm Nigerian. I'm very much Nigerian.
Okay. Shout out to my Nigerians listeners. Okay. Okay. So my other thing was you mentioned wealth management, and of course, I own Carter Capital, which is the only 24-hour wealth development firm and institute. It is our number one sponsor of the show. And with wealth development, we particularly focus on like the community and letting them know that there are different areas of wealth. It doesn't just mean like having a lot of money or things of that nature, or growing, focusing on growing wealth, such as savings accounts, CDs, college funds, Christmas clubs, focusing on working with credit unions versus banks, things of that nature, and just financial literacy and education. When it comes to asset and wealth management, can you kind of dive a little bit deeper into that? Because I know for me this week I went to like a retirement seminar, and I was probably one of the youngest people in the room, and they were like wondering like, why are you here trying to do wealth management at this age and stage, but not knowing my goal is to retire at 40. So can you kind of let the listeners know what is wealth and asset management?
For me personally, I would speak from my viewpoint and I would take this from my lens, because I think that's the only way I can give you a peculiar answer. For me, wealth management is really just ensuring that you're able to meet your personal goals. It's very personal. You know, what wealth management means to me is definitely different from what it means to you and the next person. So to some people, it might be stability. To some people, it might be creating some sort of avenue for abundance, you know, via investment. For some people, it might be legacy. You know, it might be estate planning, you know, passing it on to the next generation. So at the end of the day, it's quite self-explanatory. It's wealth, whatever wealth means to you. It could be a certain figure. It could be access to money readily available. It could be financial stability. It could be you know, investment in multiple spheres and streams of income, whatever it means to you, and then obviously managing that and making sure that you're able to attain those personal goals as regards your financial and your goals when it comes to money.
What do you think a good age or stage in life do you think you should start doing wealth management or
Um, I would say you should definitely have some strategies and techniques in place at every single point in your life. Obviously, you might have to ensure that you're at a stage where you want to take up a consultant or like a wealth management specialist or expert. You know, you definitely have to have some sort of allocation for that, right? But I would say that you definitely can start a personal journey once you start to earn any type of income. You know, you can start to do research yourself. You can start to find, you know, that oh, these days the books, the you know, layouts, frameworks that really work for everyone. So once you start to earn some sort of income, you can definitely start to find ways to personally manage your wealth, manage your finances, and then as time goes by, as you start to earn more, you would definitely know when you start to need some help and start to need some more informed decision making and some more, you know, expert advice and you know expert investment strategies. So
what would be your top three wealth tips for anybody that's like just getting started or maybe made their first 100K or maybe saved their first 100K or hit like a milestone where it's time to do something different?
that's a very interesting question. Um, I'm once again going to say from my own lens because I don't want to say certain things and people say it was this guy that said that. You know, once again, it's very personal to be honest.
So we all speak from experiences or things that
Exactly,
happen in our lives. So that's the same
exactly.
way I do it. It's something I read, something I've learned, or something I've experienced.
Once again, I'm going to say it's very personal. Um, you know, the irony is, if you asked me this question 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, I probably would have had different answers at every point in time. Just to show you how personal I reckon this is. Um, for me right now, I would say first things first is stability. You know, you want to make sure that you're stable. You want to make sure that your income is spread out in such a way that it takes care of your expenses, and you're not under any financial pressure. I think that's the first step. You know, so once you're able to achieve that, you know, being able to map out your expenses versus your income, gradually you would have some sort of spillover, and then that's when you start to think investments. Some people would say savings. That's also personal to them. But then for me, my approach would tilt more towards investments first, in such a way that your money works for you, in such a way that your money is able to make you more. And then, you know, when you start to make things like passive income, residual income, then you can start to save. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if you don't have investments, your savings are really just one mishappening or one unfortunate event away from being zapped. So for me, I would approach this from those three steps. You know, first things, find stability, then start to find some sort of spillover, some sort of abundance that you can invest. Obviously, in the right things. Make sure you're careful about your investments. Make sure you're making informed decisions. You're using, you know, well-proven strategies. You have some sort of expert advice, and you're putting your money in the right places. And that way you start to build multiple streams of income, and then you can start to save some, you can start to reinvest some, and I think you're very much on your way to a life of wealth and abundance if you take those three approaches.
What would you say to someone who has done all of those things, right? And then they just fell into a rut, or they made bad investments and they're trying to recoup and start all over with their wealth? What would be some recommendations that you would give to that person?
Um, I would say I feel like we've all been there. Um, it's part of the process. It's part of the journey. There's some mistakes you just have to make yourself. There's some parts of the process that you really can't cheat. I mean, you can try to mitigate the risk and reduce the impact by getting expert advice. Um, but then you would find out that for most people, before they get to a point where they say, "Oh, I think I need someone," they've definitely tried to venture, and then that really shapes their personal journeys. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every investor is very unique.
Absolutely.
Um, and the only way you can find this uniqueness is to embark on your own journey. So first things first, don't be hard on yourself. It's inevitable. You definitely have to make mistakes to be able to learn. And we all make mistakes. It's a journey, it's a process. Um, so that's the first thing I would say. Second of all, I would say um, you can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results. Um, what's most
Oh, that's
important
big. That's really good.
Yeah, what's most important is learning from your journey, taking out those lessons, and also being more open-minded. I know it's really hard when it comes to finances to get advice from someone or let someone really take charge or to delegate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I mean, for everyone, it's money is quite important. Do you understand what I'm saying? So um, I would say learn from your mistakes, learn from the journey, see how that really shapes you, because that's what makes you who you are, and that's what really sets the precedent for your peculiar attributes as an investor. Some people would say, "Oh, I got burned doing this, so I don't want to do this way." Some people would say, "Oh, this worked out for me." So that's what really makes you who you are. So I think you have to be really sensitive and make sure that you're taking notes at every point in time, and then you let that shape who you are and who you're going to be moving forward. And then once you get to that point, then you can start to seek the right people that you feel like are the right fit for you, for your unique goals and unique aspirations as an investor.
Absolutely. That was really good. Thank you for that. So, can you tell our listeners a little bit about your story, how you came to Florida, where you are today?
Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Yeah.
We good. Okay. I was saying, tell us a little bit about your story, how you came from Mobile Coldroom all the way to Flovale, where you are today.
I mean, I reckon I gave some sort of background earlier. Um, I studied finance undergrad, and had other interests. So I just really, from the start, really found a way to, incorporate my experience and my qualifications with, what I had around me, the people I had around me, what was closest to me, what I was familiar with, and that was media, entertainment, sports. That's what I really enjoyed. So I started on that journey, set up a couple of businesses. At the same time, would have some sort of corporate job to, just balance it out. And that's why I've been able to navigate several industries because I started working quite early. I would move from industry to industry because I would say I identified the importance of evolving quite early. So for me, it was always a situation whereby I was focused on the long game. So if I was somewhere, I was trying to leverage off the network of the industry, the network of wherever I was working, whatever peculiarities, whatever opportunities it would avail me, and how I could leverage that to grow my personal brand. Um, and to also just grow my experience and my knowledge over time. So from doing that, by the time I got to my mid-20s, I decided to go back into entrepreneurship full time, and that's when I started Mobile Coldroom. At the time, it was more necessity focused for me. I was able to spot the gaps in the market, and it was more agriculture, more agro technology, things that I wouldn't necessarily have leaned towards. Um, but then, like I said, it was more necessity focused. It was me just as an entrepreneur being able to spot what the market needed. And I ventured into that. I did that for a few years, gained some more qualification. Um, and then I went into governance, just really from like an impact based perspective and just for more a need for personal fulfillment at the time. So this all just ties back to evolving as a person and just paying attention to where you are mentally and what really makes you happy. I would say, we talk about business, we talk about all these things, but what's most important is the human element. We're all human beings first. And I think that really ties into
Right.
whatever we're doing professionally, So that's really something that's really guided my journey over time, just how I feel, where my head is at, what I'm most passionate about at the time. And then I would more or less follow that. So I did governance. Eventually, Mobile Coldroom we sold um, to another company in the industry, and then that's when I decided to do a 360 and reevaluate where I am and what I want to do. And right now in my career, I reckoned I wanted to do something that I was passionate about, something that would help me combine all this experience so it doesn't waste. I tell people all the time, your experiences, your background, your qualifications, your mistakes, all these things is what makes you who you are. That's what really sets you apart from everyone else. That's all you have. And that's what makes your unique story. That's what gives you a unique value proposition that you can offer your clientele. So that's just where I am right now, just combining everything and offering that to the unique clientele we're looking to work with.
That's super interesting because I literally just was talking to my mentees about things like that because you have to be authentic, you have to be consistent, and a lot of times they wonder aren't converting or is likes or the responses or the engagement that they think that it needs, but it's because you went to a networking mixer, didn't network, you went into engagement and didn't it doesn't feel authentic when you just going up to somebody handing a business card versus getting to know someone at the event, seeing how you can either collaborate, work together. This might be your next business partner, business bestie, your next client, you might be their client, right? So just having those, not just having those expectations, but having a strategy on when you're invited into certain rooms and when you're what you're looking to do. So even when you were at a job, you knew that you wanted to be an entrepreneur. So you set a plan in place. You made your job your first investor. You took your experiences from each setting that you were in and came up to where you are today. So I want to encourage anybody that's listening to make sure that you're using your skills, your individuality, authenticity, your authenticity to market and leverage your personal brand. So that's really good. Can you kind of talk about the merchandising and product licensing aspect of the business?
Um, so I'm just going to talk about that's one of the many services that we're looking to offer. First things first, I think it's important I mention that. We've got so many other services, such as investment strategies, wealth management, asset management. Um, but I'm not surprised that you're asking about this one in particular. Um, I think it's one that really strikes interest across board. And it's one that always comes up when I have conversations about the company. Um, are you there? I thought I lost you for a second.
No, I'm here. We're good.
Okay. So for Flovale in particular, the merchandising is tailored to our primary clientele. As I'd mentioned earlier, um, it's a situation whereby we know that people in this industry primarily have the reach, primarily have the influence. They primarily have the avenues to reach out to potential customers. But then you find out that there's a gap between people like established athletes, global superstars in the entertainment industry, creative professionals that have some sort of loyal following. You find out there's a gap between whatever they're doing and the potential to set up successful businesses. And then for the layman, you think, why is this person not doing this or doing that or thinking about doing this? But to be high performing, to be at the top of the pinnacle of this industries, it's a situation whereby you have to primarily focus on your craft. Do you understand what I'm saying? Things like music,
Absolutely, I understand.
art, sports. Yeah, you have to, yeah, to be a top performer in this industry, you have to be totally dedicated to the craft, to the sports or to whatever performance. But then in the same breath, you're racking up all this influence and all this numbers and this fans and this followers. So it's quite unfortunate, but that's where we come in. We're looking to bridge the gap between these people and the fans and the followers and the influence and the reach they have, and develop some sort of commercial value that's able to bridge that gap. Um, you know, a lot of people have the potential to start certain products. They have the potential to start businesses outside the industry. And like I said earlier, there's no avenue to do this. So we come in, we have end-to-end business solutions. We find the right product, the right services for whoever we're dealing with. And then we do the end-to-end, from the research and development to the design to the product development to manufacturing to supply to distribution to sales and marketing, so on and so forth. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like for me as a businessman, if I'm gonna start a product from scratch, I'm gonna have to do sales and marketing. Chances are while I'm developing the product, I have zero clientele. But if I was dealing with an athlete that has access to maybe even 30 million people online, 1% of 30 million people is 300,000 people. And 1% is the most generous estimate you can ever give in a pitch. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So, just really being able to identify that and tilt more towards that and say, why don't we collaborate? We have the business expertise, we have the manufacturing prowess, we have, supply chain, operational prowess. Why don't we just take this up for you, do it end to end, stick to our part of the bargain, leverage your brand equity, leverage your brand influence, and, just make a dream team towards developing a successful brand, or product, or whatever it might be. And the same goes for product licensing. There's so many companies out there, they want to start new products, they want to diversify. Instead of starting from scratch, we can really just bridge the gap, find a way to find the right fit for the product. Same thing with endorsements, same thing with brand ambassadorships, corporate partnerships, and so on and so forth. So for us, that's the gap that we're able to identify. Obviously, it's more than identifying the gap. We've been working on this venture for over a couple of years. We've worked in the background. We've worked with some of these people over time, over the past decade, providing business
Mm-hmm.
advice personally. I mean, I started from the industry, so I have so many friends. I had so many partners, alliances. We've done business over time before deciding to venture into this and make it a corporate entity. Um, just really being able to, you know, just merge all this and then just, bring it to reality has been quite exciting, and we're very thankful for it.
Well, congratulations. And can you let everybody know how to get in contact with you or follow you if they would like to work with you?
Um, as Flovale on most social media platforms is either Flovale Consulting, I believe. On Instagram, it's Flovale Consulting. We're on LinkedIn, on Twitter. My personal Instagram is my full name. It's OPEOLUWA It's the first three letters of my last name. So you can always reach out to me. I can't promise to respond to messages immediately, but I definitely try to get to them as soon as I possibly can. Answer questions, give advice. And I look forward to everyone also growing, finding their purpose, finding their unique standpoints, and being able to offer value to the clientele and to the world in general.
You did. You came in and you provided so much value. I'm excited to share this episode with our listeners, my mentees, and also put it out to our email list. So I will get in contact with you following the episode and let you know with some more instructions on how to get this episode out there to your community, your listeners, and your potential clients as well. Thank you again for coming on to Comma Convos
Thank you so
podcast.
much.
To
Thank you
everybody
very
listening
so
out
much.
there, we always in the show we're letting y'all know I want to see y'all winning and wealthy. Shout out to our sponsors, Carter Capital, Dricka and Carter, the brand, and everybody that makes everything possible here.
Can I give a shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
my
producer.
PR team as well?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yes. My PR team, they've been very amazing. In all honesty, I'm a very private person, so I can never do anything like this on my own by myself. So, my PR team, Interdependence, they've been quite great. Working with them over time has been quite exciting, and they're actually the one that facilitate, most of the things I get onto
Yes, they
like this.
did. And they did a good
Uh,
job. They did a great job. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we connected, and I'm glad to have you on my platform. If you ever, have another offer that you want to share with us or come on for a second time, the door is always open.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well done with the great job you're doing with your
Thank you.
mentor
Y'all
and your platform.
have a
And I hope it continues to go amazing. I definitely look forward to hearing more great things and more achievements from your camp as well.
Thank you. You have a great day. Happy Wednesday, y'all. As always, I want to see y'all winning and wealthy, and y'all have a great day.